Hello everyone! Today's video is going to be all about how to make these paper lightbox ornaments. Let's start off with the materials that you'll need. The first thing you'll need is a template printed out. The link to all of the templates shown in this video, as well as many others, will be linked in the description box. I would recommend that you try and print yours out on some thicker cardstock paper, so that the pages are stronger and can hold up the shapes that you cut out of it. You'll also need a cutting mat, a craft knife, a pair of scissors, some foam core board, a pencil, a ruler, some white craft glue, and some ribbon. The first thing you'll need to do once you have your template printed out is to start cutting out the template. Make sure to take your time when cutting out the intricate shapes. I like to start cutting mine out from the inside shapes before I cut out the actual square lightbox pieces. When you're cutting out the actual square pieces, try not to cut into the strips too much that are in between the squares. We'll be needing those later. Once you have your template completely cut out, take your piece of foam core board and begin to measure out the pieces that will be going in between the lightbox layers to separate them. They will need to be approximately 3.5 inches long by 1/4 inch wide. Each lightbox ornament requires 12 separate strips. Once you have your 12 strips measured out, begin to carefully cut them out. Now it's time to start assembling the lightbox. Each template page is laid out in the exact same way. In the top left corner, you have the first layer, which is the frame. The upper right corner is the second layer. The lower left corner is the third layer, and the lower right corner is the back. Make sure you are gluing the strips to the side that has the ink on the page. Starting with the first layer, glue one of your foam board pieces to each side of the square. Make sure you are gluing the piece to as close as the outer edge as possible. Continue to glue one foam board piece to each side of the next 2 layers. The back piece doesn't get any pieces glued to it. Now to assemble the layers together. Start by gluing the first layer foam board pieces to the front of the second layer layer foam board pieces to the front of the third layer, and finally the back piece to the foam board pieces on the third layer. Next, go back and grab the rest of that template page that I told you to keep earlier. We're going to be using it to finish off the edges of the lightbox. Using your template as a guide, mark the width of the lightbox edges onto one of the strip pieces. You will first need to mark 2 that are longer than one of the lightbox sides. You can use the first strip that you measured and cut out as a template to make the second strip. Next, glue one of the strips that you just cut out to the top of the lightbox. Make sure you cut a strip that's long enough to easily go around the corners of the lightbox. Then, glue the second longer strip to the bottom of the lightbox. Go back to the third extra strip of paper from the template page and cut the extra ends off. Then again, use your lightbox as a guide for the width of your strip of paper that you need. Cut the full strip out, fold the strip in half, and then cut it along the line so that you have 2 strips to go on the other 2 sides of your lightbox. Grab the ribbon that you're going to be using and cut a length of it. Glue one end of the ribbon to one of the unfinished sides on the upper part of the lightbox. Then glue one of the strips to the unfinished side of the lightbox, sandwiching the ribbon. Repeat the same steps for the other side. And there you have your finished paper lightbox ornament.